to Historical Airsoft. Today we're going to be taking a look at a good example versus a bad example of a reproduction German World War II Splinter camouflage helmet cover. So the helmet cover on the left here, which is on an M35 helmet, my friend bought from Amazon a few years ago. It's made by some Chinese brand. He got it for about 20 bucks. This one right here is made by At the Front, which is a company that sells reproduction World War II equipment, German and American. They do very, very good stuff. And this one was also $20. So these are two very different examples of helmet cover, or in terms of quality, they vary quite a lot. So the one on the left here by the Chinese company has quite a few things wrong with it, and we're going to go over those. So the first thing, and probably the most obvious thing, is the actual camouflage pattern itself. The most noticeable thing is these weird blurred edges that they have around the outside of the pattern. This did not exist on any versions of Splinter camouflage I've ever seen. I'll display a picture of it up on screen. As far as I can tell, this never existed, and I'm not sure why they did this. It's not like they're going to get in trouble for copying the pattern. It is a pattern developed by a now fallen country decades ago. So I don't know why they did that. Maybe it's to stand out, who knows. And the next thing that's wrong with the pattern is the actual splinters themselves. They are quite a bit too small. The pattern was only printed in one size, and then, if it was on a Zeltbahn, like a shelter half or a helmet cover or whatever, the pattern was in the same size. So no matter what, the splinters would always be the same size, same thickness, all that sort of stuff. So they're a little bit thin, they're very close together. You can tell the difference between the actual splinters on the pattern is quite different. The next thing that's wrong with the physical pattern is the color of the neutral area between the brown and the green and the splinters is quite a bit too light. If you compare it with the ATF reproduction, it's quite a bit darker on this version. And at the front, here I'll display a picture up on screen of an at the front helmet cover compared to an original German World War II cover that they used to base their cover off of. So you can see that they do a really good job trying to make sure that it's as accurate as possible. So the next thing that's weird and wrong with this helmet cover, so the little strips in here that were for camouflage foliage or whatever are quite a bit too long, and they have a weird seam in there, and you can tell that they're not held on there very well. It seems like it could fall off just about whenever at any moment. ATF makes sure that that is on there nice and tight. So also, I'm not entirely sure if there was a manufacturing standard for at what angle these had to be on the helmet cover. If anyone knows that, I would appreciate it if they let me know in the comments, because that'd be interesting and useful to know. All right, so the next thing that's a little bit wrong with this helmet cover is, well, we're going to have to flip them over. You can see that there's these drawstrings that are used to cinch up the helmet cover around the entire helmet. And they go all the way around the circumference of the helmet cover on the Chinese reproduction. On the ATF reproduction, it stops right here, and on the other side, right here. So it only cinches up around the back, and the reason it doesn't have to cinch up around the front is because it's tapered for the shape of the helmet. Versus on this one, it's just like a big bowl that you slip the helmet into, and it doesn't have any distinct shape. So ATF did a good job reproducing that and making sure that that is accurate to the real one. The next thing, this one's kind of simple, just the drawstring. If you compare the ATF reproduction to a real Splinter helmet cover, you can see that the drawstrings were just made of excess Splinter material, and that's as simple as that. Versus on this one, they have little plastic aglet on there and a more modern drawstring, which is not accurate. All right, so the next thing is just the material. So I personally have never worked with or felt an original helmet cover, but I can definitely tell that the ATF reproduction, the actual feel of the fabric, it feels a whole lot stiffer and a whole lot nicer in comparison to the Chinese one, which sort of loosely fits on the helmet and is fairly thin material. The last and most notable, or one of the last things that I'm just going to point out is there's a seam right here that runs along the side of the helmet cover, which is present on the ATF reproduction and is not present on the Chinese reproduction. It's definitely a little bit irritating seeing companies being able to get away with selling something that is quite inaccurate for the same price as something that is quite accurate. But, you know, way of the world, I guess. If you guys like this kind of video where we compare two products, please let me know in the comments, because we've got some other ones that we plan on doing later. And if you guys really enjoy it, we can continue this kind of stuff more often. All right, you guys have a nice day.